How are you, everybody who is watching this video? My name is Olenjolai Single. Simply just call me Olenjolai. And this I'm from Tanzania. This is our national flag. I'm from Tanzania. It's not the African continent. I'm very happy to have you, whether you are a national or international student. And I would like, first of all, to welcome you one of our institutions, which is called one of our online schools, which is called TANZANIA Online Advanced Secondary Schools, in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. And simultaneously, because even today that the title of this session, which is session 2, is forming simultaneous equations from the word problem. So simultaneously, I would like to welcome you into one of our YouTube channels at TANZANIA Online A-Level Circuit School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM that you can search in any YouTube search engine, and then you'll find us there. So I would like just to spend a few minutes to let you to be aware of everything that we are doing at least, and then that we go to the interesting sessions that we have prepared for you today. Well, maybe you are a parent or a guardian of a certain student who is in advanced education in aid of these combinations of PCB, CBG, CBN, HE, ECA, and CBA. And you have been speaking with, or you have been talking to your child, whether a girl or a boy who is in advanced educations, and then he or she has been sharing you about the challenges of going through basic applied mathematics. So you are the parents or guardians, you've been thinking a lot how you can help or what support you can give to your child in order to master basic applied mathematics as one of the subsidiary subjects in his or her combinations for advanced education. Possibly you are an advanced student right now doing aid of these combinations, who is watching these programs, whether national or international, as I've explained in lecture 1 or in session 1. So, and then you've been wandering around, you've been going through, you've been attending several sessions which are physical at school, and even you've been reading different books in order to master and understand well the subject of basic applied mathematics. So simply you've been seeking for the knowledge. And now I would like to tell you that I have a good news. You can get even more than the knowledge that you've been seeking in TANZANIA Online Advanced Secondary School, especially that in departments of advanced mathematics, you will get the answer of your question. But that is not enough. We like to just to add up something in your mind, because we are not only satisfied to meet your demands of mastering these subjects, but we like to add something, and we like to change your mindset in the way of thinking. What should we add as the teachers who will be teaching you in TANZANIA Online Advanced Secondary School, square bracket OLENJOLAIM? So this is a vision that we have, that you like, or we have an assignment to prepare, to teach, to train, to mentor, to lead, to govern, and even that to encourage some group of some advanced educational students who will be ready to take the classroom instruction, combining with the knowledge from the Word of God written in the Holy Bible, and in order to solve real-life problems, even if a small scale real-life problems, or even a medium-scale real-life problems is possible. Myself, I'm a product of those two knowledge. I'm a product of the Word of God written in the Holy Bible. I'm also a product of advanced educations that I have acquired some years ago, more than 11 years ago in Tanzania. So what I'm telling you, it might seem like something difficult or something impossible. Yeah, even myself, that when I heard this voice, and even I've been given these assignments in person, I thought it would be possible. But right now, I'm enjoying the fruits of the two knowledge, taking the classroom knowledge, or taking the knowledge from the classroom instructions, and I used to combine. So in all my levels, from my primary education, I take the knowledge that I acquired in primary education, I take the knowledge I acquired in ordinary secondary education, I take the knowledge that I acquired in advanced secondary educations, I take the knowledge that I acquired in undergraduate studies, undergraduate engineering studies, and then I combine with the knowledge that I used to extract every day from the Word of God, And hence now I'm solving real life problems. So remember that the way the teacher looks is the way that even his or her students is looking like. So even myself, I believe that I will mentor you, I will take you. However, that I want just to tell you that you have to keep this in your mind. Olenjolai does not know everything about basic applied mathematics. I just know small portions of it. But listen, I have a responsibility to teach others what I know. However, that I'll be learning every day basic applied mathematics because it's one of my favorite subjects and I like it. I don't know about you. Do you like it? Possibly that you like it, but maybe you've been disappointed with the environments that we are passing through right now. You should not make this, that's just temporary. You're going to cross that. You're going to overcome that. You're going to pass by. But the issue of loving basic applied mathematics is for the rest of your lifetime. So right now, in order to get answers of all the questions, let us go inside the today's session. And then I would like to insist you, I know that possibly you have a Form 5 students or Pre-Form 5 students. This content is for the Pre-Form 5 students who wish to study either of these combinations, 6 combinations, PCB, CBG, CBN, HG, ECA, and CBA. Again, so because that you are wishing to study either of these combinations, what am I teaching you is what you are going to learn in the formal school. And it doesn't mean that you should not go to school, but these contents are for the both private and school candidates or school students. And that's not enough that even school students, we can take these contents. However, that you have to remember that we'll be going to any government schools or private schools. Advanced educational students are not allowed to own forms in the boarding schools. So if you're wishing to study in a boarding school, then you have graduated just a Form 4 education, and you are sure that you are going to start 8 of these 6 combinations, then you should start taking these contents seriously from this moment. And I believe me that you will be always ahead of your classmates when you go to the school. So, well, I don't want to waste much of your time. So we are in departments of advanced mathematics. Here we are teaching 4 subjects in this department. One is advanced mathematics, is advanced pure mathematics, from 5, advanced pure mathematics from 6, basic applied mathematics from 5, and basic applied mathematics from 6. And then we would like to teach you chapter 3, which is called the algebra, right? Algebra. And then the subject of the day is basic applied mathematics, or in short we call it BAM. And then we are in subtopic 1. We have some subtopics that we have listed. And this is simultaneous equations. And this is session 2. I'm going to teach you how you can form simultaneous equations from the wordy problems. Stay connected. And this contains for the Form 5. Either Pre-Form 5 or Form 5 or Form 6. In PCB, CBG, CBN, HGE, ECA, and even CBA. This C and C and this C and this C stand for advanced chemistry, and then this C stand for commerce, so you should not confuse them. So these 2 combinations for the artistic, pure artistic, and then these 4 combinations are for the statistics, right? So let us go inside the session. So let me do the quick review, okay? Quick review of what we've covered in session. We have already taught you session 00, the general introductions of basic applied mathematics from 5 to Form 6. And also, we have already taught you session 0, session 1. And in this session 1, basically, just to do the quick review, first of all, we have mentioned the combinations. Who should study? Who will answer the question, who should study BAM? And why should you study BAM? Right? And why should you study BAM? So who should study BAM? And why should you study BAM? So, and why? Why are you studying basic applied mathematics? You know the reason? And then another key point that afterwards, after just introducing you about those issues, then I mentioned 11 chapters that you have to cover in the subject of basic applied mathematics from 5 to Form 6 according to the syllabus. Right? You have 11 chapters. 6 chapters you have to cover during your Form 5 education, and 5 chapters you have to cover during your Form 6 education. Again, now we took the chapter 3, right? So when you took the chapter 3, Then we formed, which is algebra. Okay, so in algebra, we mentioned, or we presented to you about subtopics, say subtopics, and that's the ones with subtopic. Okay, so we mentioned to you about all the subtopics, right? And then, so how many subtopics did we mention? Just to go through. Then we mentioned about specific objectives. Specific objectives of what? Of each subtopic. Of each subtopic. What are the specific objectives that the students have to achieve after mastering each subtopic? And the question that we have in play. Okay? So, and then we mentioned about concepts that we are going to cover. I mentioned about concepts of algebra that we are going to cover. And even I made general introductions. I defined what is algebra, and what are the branches of algebra. Then I left the homework one. Do you remember the question that I left you? I left the questions which was asking you that what is simultaneous equation? So we're going to begin from that point. So, okay, so let us go to this. So today I want to teach about simultaneous equations. And then this concept of simultaneous equation is not the only thing. Friends, just write TANZANIA online or level circuit score in square bracket Olenjolai. Then you'll find the contents there of simultaneous equations, and especially that. And even this concept of simultaneous equation, we began for the first time when we've been learning the topic of algebra, which is the 7th chapter in Form 1. So remember, so in Form 1. So this is the 7th chapter. So in Form 1. So also you'll find the context because also I'm teaching it. So, if that's the case that, I would like just to do the corrections of the homework. So the homework mean that this is correction. Corrections of homework 1. The question was saying that what is simultaneous equation? Ask your neighbor, what is simultaneous? What is simultaneous equation? What is simultaneous equation? Ask yourself and even ask your neighbor. And before even I proceed, I would like just to remind you or just to present to you some of the few contents that we have in TANZANIA online advanced secondary schools. We are not only teaching students or advanced students, but we are also providing them materials. We call them weapons. This is weapons number 1 for basic applied mathematics. And this weapons number 1 is stated as basic applied mathematics syllabus for the advanced educations from 5 through from 6. Again, we have the second weapon. So you can order this book. If you find a book like this one, then we can sell it to you. But if we don't find in our library, then we have to make sure that we make a copy of it. So you can have either a copy of this book or even the original. It's very important. I insist in every students of basic applied mathematics to have this syllabus because it's going to give you boundaries. Sometimes you can be learning some of the contents which are beyond of what the syllabus is recommended for you as a learner of this subsidiary subject. Again, another one is another context or another weapons is what is the book, right? So it's a textbook. So this textbook is written, it's called Basic Applied Mathematics for Advanced Level Secondary Schools, students' books from 5 and from 6. Very interesting questions that we'll be learning them. This is about sign rule, and this is about differentiations, first principle. Then this is about logarithms function. This is about algebra, and this is about inverse of the matrix. This is about integrations. Okay, so integrations of xn. So it's very interesting. So we have in our library, right? This is prepared by Tanzania Institute of Education, right? So that's the author, Tanzania Institute of Education. This is an Tanzania Institute of Education. So it's an institute which prepared the syllabus for advanced educations and even for ordinary secondary education. So this is the weapons number what? Weapons number 2. Again, we have weapons number 3. Weapons number 3 is a question and answer book, which is called Basic Applied Mathematics Review, Problems and Solutions 2001 to 2006 and 16. So in this book, you find that, very interesting book. right? It comprises so many questions. I'm going to use as a reference. You can also order this book. You can order. We are selling these books also as a cheap book, in a cheap price. So you can order in any regions of United Republic of Tanzania. Similarly, you can also order this book. Yes, we can find them. So we have so many of the original books. And just to go to the descriptions of this video, and then we'll see that how much does it cost you and what the shipping cost you. Against the first weapons is a scientific calculator. So it's a scientific calculator. Also, this is another weapons that you need, or you need when you are learning basic mathematics. So I recommend this one. However, not even function 100, but I recommend Casio function 991 as one of the scientific calculators. We have them in our library, so you can order them in any regions of United Republic of Tanzania, and you can ship them with a reasonable cost. Okay. So what is simultaneous equation? That's a question that we have on the spot. Ask yourself. You can pause the video and try to ask yourself the meanings of this word. What is simultaneous equation? So simultaneous equation, okay, simultaneous equations because it's always good. So it's a simultaneous, so this is capital S. Simultaneous equations refer to the set, of two or more equations. Two or more equations with two or more variables. Two or more variables whose values satisfying both equations. Both equations in a set. This is definition of the term simultaneous equation. Let me explain. Simultaneous equation refer to the set of two. So this is the set of either two or more equations, right? With two or more variables, with two or more different variables, whose values satisfying both equations in a set. Let me give you an example before I take you following them from the word problems. Examples. So, for example, that we can have a simultaneous equation of x plus 4y is equal to 6. This is the first equation. And then you have 2x minus 4 or minus, let's say, minus 3y. This is equal to 7. So this is one of example of simultaneous equation. Why? Because this satisfies these definitions. First of all, it's a set of two equations. How many equations? 1, 2. And then how many variables? So we have only two variables, x and y, right? Those are the variables. Okay, whose values satisfying both equations? When you find the value of x and y in this equation, that should be, when I substitute them, I substitute them in this equation, and if I substitute the value of x here and the value of y here, the answer should be 6. After finding the value of x and y, and then I substitute the value of x here and the value of y here, the answer should be 7. So again, according to definition, we say that we can have simultaneous equation which comprises more than two equations. Okay. So how we formulate it? So you can have that 5x plus 3y, for instance, and then plus 4z is equal to 11. Right? And then you can have that So this is a simultaneous equation which are 3 equations, which comprises 2 equations but with more than 2 variables. Then you have against that 3x minus 5y, then minus what? Minus 8, then this is equal to what? This is equal to 12. Okay, to 12. So it means this is also just, but we cannot solve that. So it means that we need against another simultaneous equation. So you can have that even 5x minus what? Minus 6y. Okay, plus z. This is equal to 1. So also this is the simultaneous equation with 3 variables x, y, and z. But also these are the 3 equations. When we find the value of x and y and z by either method, because for this case now, the best method is you have to use the matrix method, right? Matrix method. So from either method, if you find the answer or the value of x and y and z by using either method, and then what happens? So you say that when you substitute the value of x and y and z in these equations, the answer should be 11. When you substitute the value of x, y, and z in this equation, the answer should be 12. And substitute the value of x and y and z, the answer should be 1. Right? So that's the very important point that you have to note at the lab of basic mathematics, basic applied mathematics. That's the first point, okay, of the definition. So now you can recheck your solution. And then another key points that I have to present to you. Okay, before we go to the forming these simultaneous equations for point problems, the methods used to solve. Method used to solve simultaneous. Just this is to remind you, but to add up one method possible that you have never or you didn't heard it during your formal educations or formal education. Methods used to solve simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations. So I said that in maths or in mathematics or in applied mathematics, there are so many methods of solving simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations. There are so many methods. Some of these methods are the first one, elimination method. Say elimination method. Elimination method. So we have elimination method. The second one is called what? Substitution. You learn these 2 methods during your formal education. If you forgot, don't worry. The second method is graphical. Also learn this method in your formal graphical method. And then the fourth one is called matrix. Matrix. And the fifth one is by using scientific calculator. Scientific calculator. Scientific calculator, as I told you, that's very one of the weapons. Okay, so it's a elimination method, graphical method. In matrix method, this is called the inverse method, inverse matrix method. Inverse matrix method. Means that inverse matrix method. The sixth one also, which you learn in this subject, is called the Cramer's rule. Say Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule. If you continue with mathematics in engineering, we also learn about other methods. We'll be learning about some of the Gaussian's method, solving more than four simultaneous equations. So these are 6 methods that we can use them to solve mathematical simultaneous equation, whether we form them from the word problem or whether we form them from any context. So in this topic, we are going to cover this and we are going to use this. Possibly later on we can learn even graphical, but it's not necessary. Later on we can learn this inverse matrix when we learn about matrices, and also the Cramer's rule. We're going to learn these 2 methods. But the scientific calculator, I will also teach you. I'll also teach you just because you will be using the scientific calculator just to check the accuracy of your answers, of the values of x and y. All right. Are we together? Okay. So let me touch on this, on the elimination method, then I'll go and touch about substitution method. Because we are going after forming, I want to teach you 2 things, forming and solving. Okay? Elimination methods. And you have to think how I can take this information to solve real life problems. It's elimination method. It's elimination method. It's elimination method. So what is elimination method? So you say that the elimination method involves what? Involves manipulation, just like a technique. Manipulation of the 2 equations so that when combining of the 2 equations so that when they are combined, either the x variable, either the x variable or y variable, either the x variable or y variable is eliminated. The resulting equation with only 1 equation can be solved. So the resulting equation in short, the resulting equation of only 1 variable, can be solved. So that is all about elimination method. So what the means of elimination method? Simply in elimination method we do 2 things. Okay? We do 2 things. The first thing that you have to do as mathematicians, we have to eliminate one, we have to think, how can you eliminate 1 variable? Because we'll be given, for instance, in this subtopic, we'll be solving only 2 unknowns in the 2 simultaneous equations. So it means what techniques are we going to use? We are going to eliminate 1 equation, 1 variable, either x variable or y variable. And hence remains is an equation, which is its linear equation right now, which contains only one unknown variable. And hence now we can make that unknown variable the subject and get the value of that variable. Once we have got the value of that variable, then we substitute into either equation in order to get the value of the eliminated variable. So simply mean that, let me just generalize these steps of 40, because I want to help you to master this information. Are you ready to master basic mathematics? I want you that when you attend my sessions and repeat this video 3 times, then it's over. You'll be spending much of your time on learning about your core subjects, right? About your core subjects in your combinations, rather than studying and spending too much time on basic mathematics, because you've already understood. So steps of solving simultaneous equation, right? Simultaneous equation or equations by using elimination method. By using elimination method. So the first step, so there are some steps that you have to follow. The first step, we say that the first step of solving these simultaneous equations by the elimination method, then the first step we say that eliminate, not even eliminate, maybe rearrange the corresponding variable. Rearrange if they are not arranged. Rearrange the corresponding variables of 40 of both equations. What does it mean? It means that if you write the x variable here for the first equations, write the x variable downs of it for the second equation. Then the second step, we say that eliminate either x or y variable. Second step, make the remaining variable the subject. Make the remaining variable the subject. Then the first step, the subject. Use the remaining variable, use the value of remaining variable to find the eliminated variable. To find the eliminated variable in equation in either in any simultaneous equation. Then you are done. So to form a simultaneous equation from the word problem, then you have to make sure that you understand the variables and then let them. Okay? Let me give you examples. So this is because the homework was example 1, so this will be example 2. The question states that think of the two integers. Think of the two integers, the first minus twice the first minus the second minus the second b gives 5. Gives 5. And the year sum. So now we are forming simultaneous equation from ready problem. The year sum is 1. Formulate the linear equation. Formulate the linear equation. If you love basic applied mathematics, tell us in the comment section, please. Make the linear equations and find the two integrals. Find the two integrals. Find the two integrals. Okay, so copy that question. Once you finish to copy, you can pause the video and try formulating the simultaneous equations yourself before you check my solution. And then you come back to my solution to check whether you are right or not. Think of two numbers. Think of two numbers. Think of two numbers. Such that twice the first minus the second gives 5, and the year sum is 1. Formulate the linear equations and find the two integrals. Solution. So we'll be following so many steps here. The first step, we say that formulate. So to formulate the equation, the linear equations, right? So the first equation is formulate. So to formulate, first of all, let x and y to be the two integers. Say two integers. With the two integers, right? So think of the two integers such that twice the first t. So listen, twice the first t. So what the first integer here is x. The second is what? Is y. Right? So after letting that, then we say that such that the first integer is x and the second integer is y. So you go for the second step. Second step, we say that now formulate linear equation. So to formulate linear equations, we say that we have what? So we have to start this sentence such that this part of the sentence twice the first. What the first is x minus, right? The second minus the second dot integer gives what? This gives what? 5. So gives means equal. So twice the first. What the first integer is x. This one. Twice the first. Minus the second. The second dot integer gives what? 5. And the year sum is 1. The year sum of what? The first integer, the second integer, answer is equal to 1. Interesting. So now you have converted or you have formulated two linear equations from the word problem. So now you start getting into the beauty of algebra, right? So that's the second step. Let us go to the third step. If you understood, you have an option. So, and then the questions ask you that. So formulate the linear equations. So you can even just write that. Okay, so this is the linear equations. And then find the two integers. Okay, so to formulate the two linear equations, you can even just say, okay, I think that will conclude later. The third step. So you have to find out the two integers. So we can solve the simultaneous equations above. You can use either method, but let us begin to solve by using the elimination method so that you can practice those previous methods, right? So how do you solve it? You take the first equations, 2x minus y is equal to 5. Then this, the second equation, x plus y is equal to 1. Then we have to think, how do we see how we want to eliminate, right? So it's the elimination method. So how do we do? So you have to make a decision. You have to eliminate what you can eliminate what y, right? Eliminate y. Because if we check with the instruction, eliminate what you eliminate y, because y is common here. How can you eliminate it? Remember, these operations or multiplications involve left-hand side of the equations and right-hand side of the linear equation. So to eliminate y, we have to add equation 1 and equation 2. So to add up, we say that on left-hand side, we have 2x plus x, this plus what? Negative y plus y, which is equal to 0. And this is equal to what? 5 plus 1. So 2x plus x, this is equal to 3x, and this is equal to 6. Make x the subject, means divide by 3, then this implies that x is equal to 2. So the value of remaining what? So you follow this system. We arrange the corresponding variables of both equations. We eliminate either x or y. So here we have eliminated what? Y, and hence use the values of remaining variable to find the eliminated variable in any simultaneous equation. So that's what now we are going to do. Eliminated the variable. So add up. We have the variable in any simultaneous equation. I believe you have already got. So now we know the value of what? Of x. If you know the value of x is equal to 2, then what next? Okay, the next is you have to enjoy the beauty of this stuff. So you have x is equal to what? X is equal to 2, right? X is equal to 2. You can use either this equation or this equation. You have to choose. To find what? To find y. So we go for the first system. Okay, so you can use either equation 1 or 2. Suppose that this is equation 1 or 2. To solve what? To find, okay, to find the value of y, given that x is equal to 2. So if you use the second one, the second equation is x plus y is equal to 1. Right? So you want to make it, what should you make the subject? Have to make it the subject. So y is equal to 1 minus x equals to b plus x minus x on both sides. So then we find that y is equal to 1 minus x. This is 1 minus x. What the value of x is 2. And then say what? Y is equal to what? Negative 1. At the value of y. And then next, we can take those values, the value of x and the value of y, and substitute in the first equation and check. So you can check. So you can check this system, check for what? For x and y. How can I check? For the value of x is 3. 3 times 2. But this is your own way on your rough paper. So minus what? Minus y. Y minus 1. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Right? No. 2 times 2, excuse me. 2 times 2 it is 4. Negative and negative 1 is equal to 1. So 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. Then we have against x is equal to 2 plus 41. Is the answer equal to, no, minus 1? Is the answer equal to 1? Yes. So therefore, the value of x can be 1, 2, and negative 1, respectively. Okay, at the end of solving example 2 by using elimination method. So I believe that you have enjoyed it. And we are ready now to be tested, because you can tackle now different questions. So before I take you to example 3, I would like to spend a few minutes to explain, because I want example 3, I want to use another method. So let's just need to speak in short about what substitution. Check the spelling. Substitution method. Substitution method. How do we use substitution method to solve simultaneous questions, a pair of simultaneous equations? Well, that's a very good question. Yeah? Very good question. And this, with these good questions, we say that in this method, so this method, we use few steps to solve what? Few steps to solve simultaneous equation. And this is step, the first one. First of all, we say that we have to, because we say substitution, so we say that we make one variable, either x or y, the subject in any equation. So make it the subject in any equation. Afterward, we say that substitute the value of the variable, which is either x or y, into the second equation. Then we say that A, solve for the remaining variable. Okay. Then 4, we say that use it to find the value of second variable. So you have just to follow those 4 steps quickly, and then you are done. So in this session 2, I'll be giving you the concept, but in session 3, I'll be taking much of the time on solving problems. So example 3, say example 3. There are two numbers. We have the first responsibility is to form the linear equations. There are two numbers such that the year sum is 10. The year sum is 10, and the sum of the year squares this is very simple language. Sum of the year squares is 52. Formulate this as simultaneous equation. Simultaneous equation. Formulate this as simultaneous equations and find the value of the two numbers. Find the value of the two numbers. Find the value of the two numbers. So this is kind of the concept here. Right concept here. In some cases, the elimination method is not effective to solve some of the simultaneous equations. In some cases, for example, in the one that we are going to discover in example 3, right? One that we are going to discover in example 3, I'm doing it for that. So read the question several times as well as you can. And when you read it, you have to understand. Your eyes should be open, your mind should be clear, well prepared, well fashioned, okay? And then you should be open-minded once you are learning this stuff. There are two numbers such that the year sum is 10. And sum of the year squares is 52. Simple. Formulate these as simultaneous equations and find the value of the two numbers. Interesting. Solution. Do you enjoy the beauty of basic mathematics? Basic applied mathematics? Do you enjoy the beauty of basic applied mathematics? Do you enjoy the beauty of algebra for Form 5 students? Tell me in the comment sections whether you enjoy it or not. Do you understand what am I teaching you? Tell me in the comment sections. You enjoy this content from which school, from which country, from which continent? Tell me in the comment sections also, I want to know. Okay? The first step, we say that there are two numbers such that the year sum is 10, right? So the first step, we say that let x and y to be the two numbers. You can also let a and b the two numbers, right? So there are two numbers such that the year sum is 10. So the sum of these two numbers, which is right now, we name them or let them as x plus y, should be 10. This is the first equation, right? So this is the first step. So you are going for the second step. Second step, say that formulate this as simultaneous equations. So formulate simultaneous equations. That's the first one. The second one is, and sum of the squares of what? Of these two numbers. Sum of the squares. So sum of the squares. So you take x, you square. What are these two numbers? X and y. So you square them. So sum of these squares is equal to 52. So this is the second equation of simultaneous equation. Right? So then you have already formulated. So for the case of formulating, at this point you have already formulated. You know what the next step? Now we have to solve to find the value of x and y. That means to solve x and y, right? So the value of x and y. So as I said, that for example, if you want to eliminate, elimination method is not effective in this. Why? Can you think that, for instance, if you want just what number should you multiply with these first equations, or what number should you multiply with these second equations in order to have the same terms of x, or maybe the same terms of y, so you can eliminate either x or y? Not that number, because this is squared and this is squared each other. Unless, for instance, if this is squared but this is not squared, yes, you can eliminate. Okay, so with this case, we say that we are limited in this is steady state. We are limited to use what? To use elimination, to use substitution method, right? So we say that solve the simultaneous system of equation by using substitution method. Okay, substitution method. How can you do it? We have x plus y is equal to 10. Make x this up. This is 10 minus y. So x is equal to 10 minus what? Y. So then, suppose that this is equation 3. So making x exactly, so you go for the first step. The first step, we say that substitute equation 3 into equation 2. So once we substitute also in place, so we in the place where we have x squared, we are going now to introduce what? 10 minus y squared plus what? Y squared. The answer is equal to what? So then you multiply the terms. You take these 10 times 10 is equal to 100. 10 times y is equal to negative 10y. Negative y times 10 is equal to negative 10y. Negative y times negative y, this is equal to y squared plus y squared. This is equal to 52. Okay. So then this is equal to what? 100 and minus what? 10y minus what? 10y plus y squared, right? Plus y squared is equal to 52. Okay? Plus y squared plus y squared plus y squared. So this will be plus 2y squared, right? Are we together? Okay. So then we have 100 minus 20y plus 2y squared is equal to 52. So rearrange these are the quadratic equations because this is quadratic equations. So this one, so 2y squared minus 20y plus 100 is equal to 52. So then I can divide it by 2 and divide this one by 2. So I have y squared minus 10y plus 50. Hence this is equal to what? 26. So then this now will be equation 4 because it's already a quadratic equation. So we have different ways on solving these quadratic equations. One of the methods that we can solve it by using splitting the middle term. We can solve it by using the graph. We can solve it by using the scientific calculator. We can solve it by using perfect square, or different perfect square. So you have so many different ways that we can solve this quadratic equation. Okay, so that will be the fifth step. So use the scientific calculator. So solve what? So solve equation 4 by using what? We can use scientific calculator. Okay, by using scientific calculator to redeem the time. So that's why that I told you that one of the weapons that you need is scientific calculator. So follow along. So look careful. Watch on your electronic device. So we press mode for the first time, right? And then press mode for the second time, right? We press mode for the third time. This is mode. So my scientific calculator. So this is mode, right? So it has been written mode here at the top. First time, second time, third time. Then you choose the equation. Then how many unknowns are we solving? Only one unknowns. So you press right side of these replay buttons. Then you've been asked, how many degrees do you have there? The highest degree is 2. So you choose 2. What the coefficients of y squared? It's 1. So write 1, you press equal sign. What the coefficient of y? It's negative 10. So write negative 10. Then so the coefficient, what the constant term? It is 50. Then so you have the values of 40 of x1 and the value of 40 of x2. Okay? Okay? So then we say that the value of y the first value of y, once you use this scientific calculator, is 899.9. And then the other value, which is this equal to y1, which is equivalent to x1 of the scientific calculator. Second value of y is 0.055 or 6. So when you approximate this one, this will make it 900. When you approximate this one, this has been 5. And approximate is 0.056. So these are the values of 40. Okay, so I'm sorry, I've done a mistake here when I've been solving this equation. And the mistake is I've just asked you to solve while I still have this term on this side, which should be mean that let me just do the minor correction. Because that's why that these values of y are not correct. It won't satisfy the equation. So 2 over 2, this gives us y. 20 over 2, this gives us 10. Hence 100 over 2, this gives us 50. 52 over 2, this gives us 26. So bring 26 on this side. So be y minus 10 plus 50 minus 26 is equal to 0. So you see the mistake that I've done, excuse me. Plus what this is, make 24 is equal to 0. Right? So 24 plus 26 is equal to 50. So from here we can go now the fifth step. And then we say that solve what? So this is what we got equation 4. Solve equation 4 by using scientific calculator. Using scientific calculator. So we have the first value of y, second value of y. So we follow the same steps as we followed before. So you have to take your scientific calculator and then you press what mode, right? Even if you didn't clear. First time, second time, third time, right? So once you do that, then you choose the equation. Afterwards, you press these buttons. It's 2 degrees. What the coefficient of y squared? It's 1. What the coefficient of b is b? the coefficient of y is negative 10. It's negative 10. It's negative 10. What the coefficient of c? It's 24. Coefficient of y power 0. So x1, which is y1, is equal to 6, and x2, which is y2, is equal to 4. So the first value of y is 6, and the second value of y is 4. Right? I'm about to finish this session in order to leave the homework for you so that you enjoy it, and we'll meet in the next session, which is session 7, which is session 3. So then we go for the sixth step. The sixth step, we say that find values of what? Why we have two values of x? Because we have this quadratic equations. This is our highest degree. Okay? Find values of 40 of x corresponds to what? Corresponds to y's. Right? So we say that simply when y is equal to 6, just to take equation 1, x plus y is equal to 10. So we have to look for x is equal to 10 minus y, and this x will make 10 minus y. Value of y is 6, so x is equal to 4. Then again, so when y is equal to 4, then we have what? So we are still taking the first equation, x plus y is equal to what? 10. Then we have what? We have x is equal to 10 minus y. Then you have x is equal to 10 minus 4. So this will make x is equal to 6. So you have how many values? So we say that we conclude the values of x and the y are but before, I think it's better if we check. X is 4, y is 6. So you take x is equal to 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. 4 square is equal to 16. 6 square is equal to what? 36. 36 plus 16, 52. And let us take x is equal to 6. So here it is 6, right? 6 plus 4 is 10. Then let us take x is equal to what? X is equal to 60, so the 6 plus 16 is 52. So it means that the value of x is 4 and 6. Is either 4 or 6. The value of y is either 6 or 4. So therefore, the two numbers, because we are not looking at the value of those variables, we are looking at the two numbers, right? The two numbers, where you conclude, the two numbers are 4 and 6. We have already omitted the contradiction. Already overcome the contradiction. Okay, so now it's a very good time that I have to leave the homework to you so that you can try to form and solve, to form a linear equation yourself from the word problem. And this will make example 4. And this is your homework. This is your homework 2. So you have to make sure that you do this question and submit your solution in the comment section. So it's one of the short questions, of the shortest question. So the question states that the two or the sum of two whole numbers is what? Is 5. And the difference of the area square difference of the year squares is 5. Okay, find the two numbers. Find the two numbers. And if you find the situations like before, then you know how to navigate. So you say that the sum of the two whole numbers is 5, and the difference of the year squares is 5. Find the two numbers. Simple, very simple question. And then, so I would like to say that this is the end of this session. I thank God who have created me in His own image and likeness. I give Him all the praise. And I thank you also who have taken your times to learn this contest with me. And I thank God who have given me a gift of teaching. He built the teachings in me just like flyings in the babes. And I give Him all the glory and all the praise for these great works that are right now that I can teach national and international students of advanced educations. Okay, so I would like to ask you that to remind you, make sure that you subscribe into our YouTube channel and turn on the notifications, because we are going to have more than 500 videos in Tanzania online advanced secondary school in square bracket in OLENJOLAIM. So make sure to subscribe so that the YouTube comment will give you notifications once we upload any new video. Also remember to subscribe, to share these contents, to like, and even to read the descriptions below so that you can get so many informations, including the informations for our advanced library, right? For advanced library, where that you can order so many different items for your advanced education, you know, simplify your advanced education and make it the sweetest level of education for the rest of your life. So thank you very much. I invite you in the session 3, when now I'll be solving problems, because you'll be problem solving on on simultaneous equations, problem solving on forming simultaneous equation, okay, from the word problem. So I'll be solving exercise 3 with you. It comprises so many different questions. I won't solve all the questions, but I will at least solve some of the questions to encourage you to go through it. So make sure that you have this textbook, because I will be leaving some of the questions that I won't write them on the blackboard, but I will ask you to do them in this textbook that's called Basic Applied Mathematics for advanced students of Form 5 and Form 6. And this is the student book, it's not the teacher's book, right? So make sure, even if that you can access it from your eldest brother, wherever that you can get it, the issue you should have it beside you, so that your learning will be perfect and be smooth, and even that we enjoy and we want to reach the end of learning basic mathematics with me, and especially that in Tanzania online advanced secondary school in square bracket Olenjolai. Keep praying for me, and keep praying for you, so that we have to accomplish this business, and also even yourself should be more successful for the rest of your life. May God keep you, and I will pray for you, and so that you will join me.